I'm Judy,
And I'm Haley, and
and
welcome
welcome
to
to
Noodle
Noodle
Brain.
Brains.
So kick off your shoes,
Grab your Kool-Aid.
and let's get started. So we have a little cutie joining us today.
He is a
Well,
cutie.
Andrew, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm the guy behind the camera.
He is
What
the
else are you?
brains
I'm the
behind our
boyfriend.
lives. He's the brains behind the recording. He's the brains behind all of this.
He's the brains behind my life. So, yeah, he's dating the literal coolest person in the entire world, moi. So, how do you think you're qualified to be here today?
Well, if you want the real answer, I said I shouldn't be. So,
Well, how has y'all's week been? Let's start with Haley. How's your week been?
Laugh
Or
out loud.
last week, since we met last, how's life?
Not too hot considering I failed a chemistry test this morning.
Haley, did you not study?
Judy, I studied for 2 weeks straight for 2 hours every single day.
What went wrong?
My life.
she studied for 2 weeks instead of like 4 days.
Hey, Andrew, listen, I'm a lot smarter than you. No, my chemistry teacher, wonderful lady, good teacher. Her tests are just very hard.
Yeah.
Compared to what she gives us in class. Like, we don't do worksheets, we don't do anything. Like, we go over the content and we don't see it until the test.
So how do you handle your anxiety when you fail your test?
Well, I had a little bit of a mental breakdown, but I kind of just looked at it and was like, once you've hit rock bottom, you can't go any lower. That's kind of the mindset I have, right? So all I can do is just sit there and be upset about it, or I can just complain, and I love to complain. So, that's what I do.
Gotcha. Andrew, how's your week been?
I haven't done anything.
You know what? I
Yeah.
have this feeling you're going to have a bad week or a bad day after this video because she failed her test. I feel like
No, that's usually how it goes.
No.
I feel like you need to go take 2 aspirin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I literally texted him. I was like, well, I called him right after, and he was halfway awake. He's like, what? I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure I just bombed my test. He's like, okay. And
It was like 9:45. I was still
I
asleep.
called him after he was awake and was like, hey, I don't think I did too good, but like, it's whatever. So I texted him earlier and I was like, I made a D. And he's like, what did you study? And I was like, yeah. And then he's like, well, maybe you should do this. And I was like, I don't really think it's going to help anything. And he's like, well, and he said some not nice things about a nice person. He said some not nice things and was like, well, maybe your teacher just doesn't want you to succeed. And I
That's
was
why I said that sounds like the kind of teacher that likes when their students don't pass. Because there's a lot of college professors that are like that. They take pride in it when they.
But I think
when they
she's a
fail.
good person. I think she wants me to do well. I just think she has very high standards, and I don't meet those standards because I'm 17.
Oh,
But she's had high schoolers take her class and make like A's. Go them. I'm not that smart. I'm not. I also have 4 other college classes I have to care about.
But like the fact that it's a single amount of people that have passed her class with an A is like a problem. That's like
It's fine. Judy, you want to swap? You can take my chemistry class. I'll run the farm.
Oh, listen, it would be your D would go to an F minus.
F minus.
So remember when I said
If it was like science, I like science and stuff like that. But chemistry, like
chemistry is
numbers,
science.
Formulas, they freak me out.
No, it definitely is hard when because I was talking to my lab partner about it today. It was like, you feel
What is
defeated.
a lab partner?
My lab partner?
Oh, lab. I thought you said live. Sorry. I was confused.
But like, it's frustrating when you try your absolute best and you've done everything you can do to succeed and you're not succeeding. Like, that's frustrating. But at the same time, it's like you have to count your wins. Like, I made 100 on a government test today. So it's like, might have bombed chemistry, but I aced this. And, I have a car, I have a roof over my head, I have puppies, I have kitty cats. I mean, I have Andrew over there. So, I mean, like, it's upsetting and it's really hard. And I'll probably be more upset about it later. But right now, it's like, I'm having to slowly learn that, like, if I end up making a B, it's going to be okay because I've actually given it my all. So at some point, you have to look at it and be like, God knows you're trying. You know you're trying. Everyone around you sees that you're trying. There's nothing else you could do.
Do you know what I find interesting?
What?
That you're upset about getting a B.
Amen.
Like,
what?
Judy, I had an 89. It rounded up to an 89. I've never made a B in a class. Never have finished with a B. I've never done that. It's so bad. So this test, I made a 68. It brought my 89 rounded to an 84.
Is that your final grade?
No, I mean, I still have till like December 13th. My final is worth 400 points. I did not know I had to take the final till today. I thought it was just if you wanted to, it could replace your grade, one of your lower grades. But no.
Well, like, if you have a high enough grade, then the final doesn't really matter all that much.
400 points is gonna matter.
Well, that's like the same way it is all your other tests, right? Do you have 4 tests and then a final?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my tests are 180 points each.
So then it's less weight than all 4 of your tests.
Yeah, but those test grades aren't too hot, so. Well, moving on from my depressing school life.
Ask her if you can do some extra credit.
Yeah, she doesn't believe in that because she doesn't even scale her test.
I could bring some farm animals to the class.
I asked if I could write dad jokes. I was like, if I make you laugh, can I get more points? And she's like, no. And I was like, you haven't heard my dad jokes. Like, they're good. Andrew's dad taught me well, okay?
Yeah.
No. She gives you extra credit. Like, if you go to, we have a tutoring lab at Wallace, and if you go for 2 hours a week, you get 5 points that week, but they don't really add up to much.
Gotcha.
But it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. It's not fine, but you know what? Why would I just sit here and worry about it? Because I can't fix it now. Like,
right.
I can't go back and retake it. It's just going to be what it is. And, maybe she'll see that everyone is not doing too hot.
Yeah.
See, she says she doesn't worry about things because she can't control them, but...
Hey, I've been doing better about not stressing about a ton of things.
She worries about everything there is to physically worry about, and then she worries about things that might happen, so then she worries about what she might worry about, and then, yeah, it's a whole thing.
I have panic attacks about my future, like, all the time.
Do you know what I noticed how you and I are alike is you use humor behind your stress and your anxiety and your panic attacks, which is what I do. I use humor behind mine too, and people think that we're really not stressed out because we're so freaking funny, and we're like, oh, you have no clue. And I'm sure Andrew's like, oh, y'all have no clue.
I'm literally like, half the time I'm like, well, I mean, maybe I'll just drop out, and
She'll be crying and laughing at the same time.
Yeah, literally, I'll be in the midst of a panic attack, and I'm like, so
yeah, yeah. No. I use humor behind mine as well.
Well, I just feel like
they think I'm so funny, and they're like thinking that I don't have anxiety and depression because I'm so freaking funny. But you know what it reminds me of? What was his name that committed suicide? The funny comedian?
A lot of those guys.
The funny comedian.
Robin Williams?
Yes, Robin Williams.
Who's that?
Oh, dear God. Are you serious?
No. Like, I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't know for sure.
Robin Williams was this comedian. He was in Miss Doubtfire. Do you remember Miss Doubtfire?
Oh, he killed himself?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was hilarious, the funniest comedian. He was like in all these movies, and you would be rolling the floor laughing because everything that he said, anytime he was in an interview, He was absolutely hilarious, and you never saw it coming.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was him.
it's frustrating when people don't understand. But my thing is, I don't want to tear you down when I'm upset. And sometimes the best way I can do in my head is just if I laugh about it, I can just kind of hide it until I'm alone, and then I can like
Me too.
cry. But sometimes I can't cry. Sometimes, like, you know, when you cry so much, it's hard to cry.
Yeah.
So I haven't really had a good cry in a hot minute.
I haven't cried. Like, mine's a minute cry. I'm not like sobbing, but like I have a lot of stress on me right now, and I have got headaches. Last night I was telling Shane that I think I have heart trouble.
Sounds familiar.
Shut up! No, we're not doing that. Ain't doing that today.
Because what's happening is like I'll be fine, and then all of a sudden I feel like my heart's fluttering, and it's like a tickle in my throat, and I'm like, Shane was like, "Do you have a heart murmur?" I was like, "Oh my god, heart murmur!" You know, and I'm like, "Oh my god, heart murmur!
And
What is
it
that?"
always leads to cancer every
It's
time.
literally like you have stage 4 cardiovascular cancer or something.
Yes, and then I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna die. Who's gonna take care of my animals? Oh my god, my kids don't ever come visit. My animals are gonna be."
Haley did something like that the other day. I can't remember what it was. She had some small pain, and she thought it was like a tumor. What was it?
Stop!
I
Don't call me out like that.
It was like the other day. You had some pain in some arbitrary place, and you were like, "I think it's a tumor. I think I'm gonna die." I was
Oh
like,
my gosh! So I didn't, as a female, like right here, right below your belly button, like kind of on your pelvis and stuff, you have lymph nodes right there, right?
Yeah,
Well, sometimes lymph nodes swell.
right.
So like a year ago, it swelled up, and I thought I had a tumor, and I thought I had like ovarian cancer. No! Okay, stop it. What would you feel if there was like a lump out of your skin down there? Like it was right, like kind of on my waistline, like right below my waistline. I was like, I'm gonna die. Like I'm never gonna be able to have kids. I'm gonna die. And my mom felt it and was like, yeah, that doesn't feel too good. And then I was talking to somebody else about it, and they're like, you have a lymph node there. And I was like, oh, I knew that.
Well, I'm like, Shane, I think I need to go to the heart doctor. And he was like, what's wrong? You know, and I told him, and he was like, of course, he, you know, is like, you've got to go to the doctor, Judy. You got to take that crap serious. So then I'm going in total left field, going, oh my gosh. So I began to Google, and it said, I was like, am I going to die with a heart murmur? And then it was like, no, it's not a big deal. I'm like, oh, I don't have a heart murmur. It's something else.
It's not big enough of a problem for it to be something that small.
It's not a heart murmur. I must have mitral valve. Okay, I remember one time, like a doctor said that was like I am in total, and then I'm like, maybe it's anxiety because my dad has cancer, and we have to go to treatment every single day for 6 weeks, and I have to drive all the way to Birmingham every single day.
Why doesn't he do chemo in Coleman?
It's not chemo; it's radiation. He has to have these seeds implanted into his prostate, and they don't do it in Coleman because we're rednecks, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that
So
sounds.
I'm having anxiety because I'm fixing to spend 4 hours a day going back and forth to the doctor for 6 weeks. It's right in the middle of the holidays. I'm stressing out because I don't do holidays well. I told Shane yesterday, I'm like, I'm not having any of the kids over. He was like, for Christmas? I'm like, nope. Nope, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And I just like I feel anxiety, and I'm like, Judy, you're not dying of a heart attack. You know, like all day I've been looking for my left arm to have numbness. I'm like, I'm not having a heart attack.
I've been there.
I just need to breathe. I think I just need not go to the doctor, and I just need to I need to call my psychiatrist.
Drive to and from Birmingham is enough to make you anxious.
Listen, my therapist, when I went to therapy, like, not the last time, maybe like 2 times before, I was talking about, it was when I went through that spell where I thought I, like, for real had lymphoma. Because I had really bad back pain that came out of absolutely nowhere. I was having headaches. I was using the bathroom a lot and stuff like that. I had to like pee all the time. So like I was looking up symptoms and it was like I had most of the symptoms of lymphoma. I was talking to my therapist about it. And she's like, well, you know, my friend had headaches and was kind of like a little dizzy and she fell down. So she went to the doctor and she has cancer. And I was like, why would you tell me that? I was like, why did you tell me that? No. She told me though, she's like, listen, if it will make you feel better to go and talk to a doctor and go get your blood drawn and stuff, just do it. And I live by that. If you feel bad, go to the doctor. Because the worst thing you can find out is you're dying. But we're all dying. So what does it matter?
True. Every day. We're dying every day.
No. Okay. So, Andrew, how do you, as a person who doesn't really understand mental health or deal with it on the daily, how do you think dealing with someone like me is? How hard do you think that is?
It depends on the scenario. Most of the time, I just kind of sit there and you deal with it yourself through me.
Yeah, most of the time he just sits there. It's so bad. Like I will call him and I'm like, blah, 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 and I'm like, why aren't you talking? He's like, I don't know what to say. And then I'm like, okay, I'm fine now.
No, I'm not talking because you haven't stopped yet, and it's been like 10 minutes.
Hey.
But that's okay. Sometimes I just have to be there, and you'll cry or say things about things or whatever, and I just sit there, and eventually you get over it, and you get better.
I have a question for Andrew.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have diabetes. Do you ever get in left field because you have diabetes? Like, I'm pissed off that I can't eat this, or I'm pissed off that my sugar is this, or I have to give myself shots. Do you ever get in left field with your diabetes?
Depends on. Are you shaking your head over there?
Yeah.
I don't ever really like get angry.
Yeah.
I just kind of ignore it sometimes, which I shouldn't, but like you just kind of have to sometimes because it's something you have to deal with every single day, all the time.
Yeah.
Every time you eat something, or even sometimes if you're not eating something and your sugar just goes up or goes down out of nowhere, you have to deal with it. So sometimes I get to like, even sometimes it's like a week where I basically just ignore it
Yeah.
because I'm like sick of dealing with it. And then there's other times where I'll go like 2 weeks straight where it's like really good. But then right after that 2 weeks, I'll go like a week with it being really bad.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like deal with it as it comes.
Well, you know what? The same thing happens to Haley and I. But our diagnosis was something different because that is what I do. Like, I'll ignore my mental health and I don't work on myself. And then all of a sudden I'm out of control and my like depression is like, oh my gosh. And it's like, okay, I better get a hold of this because if I don't, I'm going to bottom out, which means when you get out of control and your sugar is sky high and you're like, oh shoot, I better get a hold of this. If I don't, I'm going to end up in the hospital, whatever, have a stroke. It's just like, and I know it's so hard because like people understand diabetes. Like you talking right now, people understand, oh, he's got diabetes. Wow, he's not overweight. He looks good. He's young. Like, why does he have diabetes? Because most people look like, if you're an elderly person, like, oh, I say elderly, but like my age, and you're way overweight. Oh, she's overweight.
Well, that's type 2 though. Andrew's type 1.
Isn't type 1 bad?
No, well, type 1's genetics.
Yeah,
like
type 1 means like I was born with it, and at some point in my life, it could have been even after I died, but at some point in my life, it would have showed up either way. But it's also like trauma affected. So if you have some kind of physical like trauma happen to you, where your body like fights something or goes into like a super high adrenaline spike, it can cause it to come out. And I broke my arm, and then 6 weeks later, I had diabetes.
How old were you?
15.
So like, those like your friends and everything know, or do you keep that to yourself?
Yeah. Pretty much everybody I know knows. I don't really like specifically say to everyone I meet that I have diabetes, but if it becomes important, like the guys I'm living with right now, they know, because if something happens to me, they have to know how to fix it.
Yeah.
But like my professors don't know, most people don't know, but the people that have to know.
It's funny because, like, like we talk about mental illness, and like Haley and I don't play the part. Like, people look at us and we don't play the part of mental, and it's like I look at you and you don't play the part of diabetes. You don't fit the mold of what I
Right.
think a diabetic
Yeah.
looks like.
The like public view of diabetes is very like don't eat cake, don't eat sugar,
Right.
drink diet drinks kind of thing. But realistically, I think it's like there's like a couple million Americans who are type 1 that don't look anything like what a type 2 diabetic realistically looks like, because that's usually due to like being overweight or having some kind of like there's what is it? There's some kind of blood issue you can have where you're type 2. Can't remember what it is. But most of the time, that's not really what it looks like. I know a lot of type 1s. There was another kid in my grade, actually, who was a type 1, and he looks basically just like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's just kind of how it got viewed over time.
So, like, I'm wanting to go into working with kids with diabetes, and another reason I want to is because I wrote, like, a big report on it. People with diabetes struggle with a lot of mental illness, and Andrew and I have went into discussion about this. He told me each time he'd have to go see the doctor, he'd have to fill out, like, what was it, like a survey?
A wellness form, and, yeah. Like,
yeah.
Do I have suicidal thoughts? Am I sad all the time? Am I eating regularly? Stuff like that. Every single time.
I know me and him have talked about it before, and he's like, he had a time, like, at one point he was kind of just like, you don't understand how it is to be kept alive by something artificial.
Yeah.
Because, he has to take insulin, and I know, like, that can be hard. But we talked about this actually last night. I was kind of like, sometimes he'll be like, well, just change your perspective on things. It's like, yeah, well, I can't do that. I can't just, when you get, like, really suicidal, and all you hear are these, like, negative thoughts telling you, like, everyone would be better without you, like, you have no place on this earth, like, nothing's gonna get better. You can't hear anything positive. Like, when you get into that down of a stage where you just, like, you think that the only possible way out of it is suicide, you can't just go, you know what, but I have this. Like, you can't do it when you hit that, like, type of rock bottom, and I've been there. And I kind of had to explain it to him. I'm like, you can't just wake up and go, okay, sugar, just go back down.
Right.
Or, hey, make insulin today, or this or that. Like, it's not how it works. And sometimes his body will, sometimes he'll take insulin, and then his sugar will go down, and then it'll randomly go back up. And, like, that's kind of how I was trying to explain it to him, is that some days I'm perfectly fine. Like, some days, well, like, I don't think I've ever went a day with no anxiety. But there are some days that I'm not depressed, or I just have, like, small anxiety about little things. But then there's other days that I can't.
I've never asked you this, Haley, and I'm sure this happens to you too, Andrew, but, like, does food affect your moods? Like, if you eat too much sugar or don't eat, you're like, well, we talked about when you don't eat, you're ticked off.
Yeah.
Like, so, me too. But, like, if you eat too many sweets, let's just say, do you find yourself, like, hyper or depressed? Like, does it change your moods? Like, does it you, Andrew? Like, if you eat...
I don't actually know. I don't think so. I don't think it really affects me at all. Haley, you'll probably have a better idea than that. I don't think so.
Well, when his sugar goes low, that man is the meanest person you will ever... He's like, go get me something to drink. And I'm like, excuse me, who are you talking to? Because, like,
I think it's like a medical thing, though, because I'm like,
yeah.
I'm not.
But, like, when his sugar is low, he's definitely, like, rude.
I'm snappy. I wouldn't say I'm mean. I'm snappy.
When his sugar's high, he's, like, it's crazy. Like, he can't feel his legs.
Really?
There was one day he drank a coffee and decided not to take insulin for some reason, and his sugar shot up to, like, what, 600-700?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he, like, couldn't feel his legs. We had to, like...
It's a really hard feeling to describe. Now that you mention it, yeah, it's a hard feeling to describe. It's almost like it's not pins and needles, but it's almost like you can feel something is wrong, like, all over your body, but you don't. It's not like something that, like, really affects you. but it's almost like you can feel the amount of sugar in your blood is too much. It's really hard to explain, but there is that. When it's like super high, you can like feel it.
Yeah.
It's not really like an energy thing. It's just kind of a feeling. It's like impossible to explain.
Because, like, when I have anxiety, I have this feeling through my body. It's like a tension. Like, I break out. I get massive headaches. I get tension all through here. I'm kind of shaking. And then, like, it's like, and it just gets worse until I got to go lay down. I got to go lay down and just breathe. James looking at me like, what the heck's happening? I'm like, I just need to be by myself and have a moment for myself. And I'm just wondering, like, with you, when you have an attack, like I have an attack, do we treat it the same way?
You know that feeling when you're like about to go over a roller coaster and you get like that feeling in your stomach of like the dropping in your stomach that everyone always talks about?
Yeah.
It's almost like that, but all over your body instead of just in your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you use the muscle that you're using, it feels like that in that muscle.
Gotcha.
That's the best way I know how to describe it. It's a weird feeling.
I can't have caffeine. Like, I can't have coffee at all. And it didn't start happening till like a couple months ago though. But I drank
medicine, I think.
Well, it was before the beach. Yeah, it was probably around when I started taking medicine, but
sorry.
Just kill a fly.
There's a gnat.
Okay. No, if I drink coffee, I'm like this. Like, I'm actually physically shaking. Like, I'm not even being dramatic. My hands are like this. Like, not even just like small shakes, like big.
And
like, I can't
everything
do it.
makes her anxious too. Yeah. I physically don't let her drink coffee anymore or anything like that.
I don't drink any type of, which I don't drink anything with caffeine in it. I drink diet ginger ale sometimes and water. And chocolate milk sometimes. But like, I don't drink anything with caffeine. So if I get anything, I'll get it decaf. Mm-hmm. But we went to Scooters the other day and my coffee wasn't decaf. They put regular coffee in it.
And you can tell.
Yeah, like I struggle a lot. Like, I can't just, like, I feel my heart like this.
Wow.
Like, it gets
She has a habit when she's really anxious is she'll either like tap something really fast, like doesn't matter, it could be a leg, could be a finger, could be like her entire arm, just something. She'll always tap something really quickly. And that's how you can tell when she's like super anxious. Is she always
like that? I'll like,
yeah, something.
Or I'll like tap my face.
Yeah,
I'm like this.
Something like that.
And he's like, stop!
Okay, not to be mean, not to sound terrible, but it is really annoying.
It's
like,
so bad.
It is extremely annoying, especially when it's on something loud and it's just like the whole time. It's really annoying.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, I'll tell you what else I can't handle. Like, certain noises. Certain noises will, like, just mess with something in my head and give me, like, panic attacks. Last night, no, it was I don't know when it was. My brother had a balloon in his hands and was, like, shaking it like this while I was, like, in the middle of speaking. So this happened. I completely forgot what I was talking about. Like, it was almost, I'm not going to say it like this. You know how when people come back from the war, they have, like, really bad PTSD? You know how, like, if they hear a bang or something, like, they can get really angry or, like, snap or something? Mm-hmm. I'm like that with just random sounds. Like, it literally makes me want to scream. Because it's like, I can't handle it. I can't handle that. Fork against the teeth literally makes me want to throw up and die. No one should scrape their fork against their teeth. You should. Andrew, on the other hand, he's like, it literally makes me sick to my stomach.
You see how like angry she is just talking about it?
It's so bad.
And then I can see it.
I'm like, please stop, Andrew, like, please. And he's like, I don't mean to. And I'm like, please stop.
The only time I do, noises bother me. Like, if I'm in the car with my children, I say children or adults. If I'm in the car with Vance or Corbin and they've got the music up and it's their music, I am like this. And they are like, Mom, what is wrong? I can't. You gotta turn it down. I cannot handle it. And they're like, God, what's wrong with you? But it's crazy because if I get in the car with my music, I have it blaring and it doesn't bother me at all.
I can't listen to music much. Like, rarely do I listen to music in the car. And this is where we get in, like, a lot of little scuffles because he always listens to, like, the same slow country music. And it just, like, I don't know what it does to me, but it's, like, at night, too. It doesn't bother me as much during, like, the day. But in the morning or at night, if we're, like, driving somewhere, it stresses me out so much. Yeah. Like, I can't do it. Especially when I've just woken up. Like, if I fell asleep at his house and he's, like, bringing me home, I am, like, so on edge, and that music makes me, like, it makes me cringe, it makes me mad, and, like, it's not even, like, it's cursing or anything. Like, I listen to Taylor Swift, but I don't listen to it a lot in my car. I usually listen to, like, podcasts.
Yeah.
It's just something about, like, the whole music thing just really bothers me. Like, I don't like it, especially when I'm driving. Like, if I'm driving, or it has to be, like, only like a few different songs.
Yeah,
I don't know, it's hard though. Like, I can't do it.
Yeah, well, it's hard for me too.
It's weird though. It's like weird how only certain things do it, but I think that's why I like podcasts, because it's like normal, it's like you're just talking to somebody, but like music on the other hand is like completely different. And I don't know, like I used to just ride to school in silence.
I honestly think it's something to do with letting the music affect you emotionally too much, if that makes sense.
I don't even listen to the words.
Right, I understand that. I just mean, because even beat affects how you feel about the music. That's what, like, music is the beat of the music makes you react in a certain way to the music. That's why people dance, right? So
it's almost like when you hear something and your brain's trying to comprehend it, but my brain has 800 other things going on, and when I hear that, it's like that's the last thing I need to think about right now. So I think like that's a thing, because I just can't focus. Like if there's like I can't do schoolwork unless I have YouTube in the background. But if I'm driving,
I hope it's Snead's Farmhouse.
What?
I hope
I do be watching my Snead's Farmhouse videos, okay?
I want you to support Leroy's food.
I hope that wasn't Leroy on Facebook, by the way.
Yeah, I thought Leroy done got on 157.
It scared me when you said, and I was like, wait a minute, let me look at it. No, that's not Leroy.
No, I couldn't tell. I was like, I think Leroy's darker than that around like his eyes and stuff.
His face is not that wide. It's more.
Can you send me a picture of Leroy so I can put him here?
Yes.
Okay. No, it popped up in my Snapchat, a picture. It was actually one of my first days. It was like my first day at the farm. Yesterday, 2 years ago yesterday, I think.
2 years.
I need to know where my phone is. I don't know where my phone is. But anyways, it was like...
I would love to see... Oh, wait. Andrew hadn't seen this. Eli gave me this for Christmas.
Aww.
It's in my room still.
That's when... Wasn't that when Fred Hunter came to visit?
Mm-hmm.
That was so much fun. We had so much fun that day. Oh, my gosh.
You look so young.
I know. My hair was so short. That was right before Andrew and I were, like, in the little friend stage that day. I was literally talking to Judy about you. I was like, Judy, I got a little
I remember
break.
when you sent me those pictures of him when he looked like a hunk of burning love, like a daggum model.
He knows.
You're like, look at my boyfriend. I was like, God.
Judy's like, okay, girl, I see you.
I'm like, yeah. Was it the Facebook pictures?
What?
Was it the Facebook pictures?
Yeah, it's when you had like the extreme bowl cut. Those. You looked good.
Not that you don't have it going on now, because you do, but back
you're a cutie.
In those pictures, you had it. I mean, you're still cute as a bug. Don't get me wrong.
He has like his senior pictures. He has one. He literally looks like a model.
He looks like a model in every picture I ever see. He looks like a model right now. He has the perfect jawline.
Well, I see the oil like dripping off of his face. So like, don't hype him up too much.
I haven't showered today.
I can smell you from here, sweetie.
Good.
You know, I get a lot of Snead's Farmhouse people tell me that they listen to us.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like most of this podcast is just me complaining. Which, like, I'm okay with that.
You're so funny.
It's so bad. Like, I was at work the other day and somebody's like, is all you do, like, just complaining? And I was like, yeah. That's my personality.
At least you're honest.
I was like, yeah. No, let me tell you, serving takes a very strong individual. I am not one. Spilled coffee on an older woman the other day. It wasn't hot. Thank the Lord heavens above.
Could get sued for that.
I didn't cry this time. Because this one time I had like 6 cups on my tray. And these were like older women. This was like when I first started working there. She reaches up on my tray to grab her drink. But when she does that, she knocks my tray. All of them fall on the table. Glass goes everywhere. Oh. And I like go like this. I go... And I like run to the back. I'm in the bathroom having a little panic attack. And my mom and brother were there on the other side of the dining room. And mom's like, I just know that was Haley. She texts me. She's like, you okay? And I like send her a picture. And I'm like...
McDonald's got a $3 million lawsuit because they spilled coffee on a lady.
I
she got
remember
30
that.
burns.
I remember that.
Well, listen, it didn't like completely cover her. Like, I think like a little bit got on her, but I don't think it was anything bad. Which she joked around with me about it. Like, she was really nice. But I have some people that come in there, and it's like all they want to do is just make your day bad. And I love my job. Like, I might not make the most money some days, but my thing is, you never know what someone's going through. And being able to serve is like, I get to have like an intimate moment between me and whoever's there for usually around an hour and 15 minutes is how long they're there. And I get to sit there and bring them joy and like make them smile and have a good day. And I'm adorable when I serve sometimes. The other day I wore little space buns. They were up here. I looked so cute. And I made a lot of money. I made like $100 and something in 4 hours. I have a little space buns. I had a little sweatshirt on. I looked adorable. But then there's other days that I show up like this and I make like no money. So.
Judy, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Me and Haley have had this talk before. How do you feel about tip culture and like restaurants paying employees like $2 an hour and expecting them to get paid the rest through tips?
I don't think that's good.
That's what I said.
No.
Because it shouldn't be up to the people who go to the business to pay the people to work.
Well, you know, like, I'm a Chipotle girl, okay? And every time, you know, you have to order through the app and then drive up. Mm-hmm. And it always makes you're supposed to tip at the drive-thru. And I'm like, I cannot bring, like, my meal's already like $14. Yes. And I'm like, I cannot bring it myself to tip. And then when I pull up and they give me my drink, and I'm like, oh my God, they hate me. They hate when I come because I'm not tipping. But I'm like, $14 for a burrito and a drink. And like, I don't know if those people depend on tips.
No, they don't.
Like a waitress?
I don't.
Especially fast food tipping.
Here's the thing. I worked at Tropical Smoothie before I worked at Cracker Barrel. We did tips. We also got paid, though. The pay was not good. I got paid like $9.50 when I started. I ended up getting raised like $10.50. So, like, I didn't get paid great. But we also had tips. I never expected someone to tip me because, no offense, you're tipping me just to do my job. Like, I'm just doing my job. I'm not going out of my way to do anything. Yeah. Now, serving, no company could have really afford to pay every server that much money. Because, like, Cracker Barrel has, like, 50, 60 servers. They have to. They have to have that many servers. And realistically, you can't pay all those people that much money, plus all the cooks, all the prep cooks, all the managers. You can't afford that.
Here's the thing, though. If you raised the prices on every food item by, like, 50 cents, and then you pay employees for their hours and not their pay, I guarantee you the servers get paid more for their hours than they do with their tip.
I promise you they won't.
Snead's Farmhouse, when they book a tour, they have an option to tip me.
Really?
And most of them do not.
Well, like, here's
they do not tip me.
Right.
I mean, sometimes I don't even realize they tip me, though, because it just goes through the system and I get paid in bulk, so I can't keep up with who's tipped and who's not. Yeah. And I always feel bad when someone tips and I didn't say thank you for tipping me. But, you know, I mean, I kick my butt, right, doing the tour, but I don't feel like they should tip me, really.
Well, here's
if they want to, great, buy a t-shirt or something like that. But, like, I feel guilty. I feel
Yeah,
guilty
like-
when people tip me.
See, the whole thing about serving is there has to be so many servers at one time in order for you to get your food in a timely manner. So let's say Cracker Barrel only has 2 servers there, and it's lunch. There's like 50 guests probably there in the whole like store. Let's say there's 50 guests. If they split all those guests up between 2 people, let's say each person had 10 tables. So I have 10 tables, the other girl has 10 tables. You know how difficult it would be to be able to get to all 10 of those tables, be able to take their orders, bring them refills, get their tickets and all that. Like, we couldn't do
Last
that.
time Shane and I went to Cracker Barrel, we waited 2 hours and still did not get our food.
Yeah, what time did you
And
go?
that was
When
not
did
the
you go?
first time that had happened. The time before that, me and Shane walked out of Cracker Barrel.
When did
It
y'all
was
go?
that bad. Huh?
The one in Coleman? Yeah, it's bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
we
bad.
literally, Shane goes, because we had to put animals. This is how bad it was. We sat down to eat, and I said, Shane, it's about dark. I've got to go put the chickens up. And he goes, will you run and put the chickens up? And by the time you get back, we'll have our food. I went all the way home. How long did we sit at Cracker Barrel? We probably sat there an hour before I left to go put the chickens up. Then I went home, put the chickens up, came back, and we still did not have our food.
Yeah, that's like,
It was awful.
Got 2.5 hours.
yeah, see, I don't work a lot. Like, I'll work like 10 to 3 on Tuesdays and Thursdays sometimes. So, like, when I'm there, it's not really super busy. So the waits usually aren't that bad.
It was awful. But we ended up getting a free meal. They were nice.
Who was your server? Do you know who your server was?
What she knew? I think she's
Yeah,
a
she-
nigger.
She definitely forgot to put in your order.
She did forget her. The manager told us she forgot to put in our order.
Yeah.
And Eli was there.
Yeah, well, the problem is they're not, I will say, like, one thing about Cracker Barrel and Coleman is they're not that good about training their, like, new servers. So what they do is they kind of, like, throw these girls or boys out there on their first day with all these tables, and they don't even know what they're doing.
Yeah.
'Cause I know, like, when I first started, I pretty much got nothing. Like, I had someone train me my first day that had only been there, like, a month.
Yeah.
So but you just kind of learn. You learn that you obviously can't get to every single person exactly when they need something,
Mhm.
but you learn how to, like, distribute your time and how to get everything done. It's hard, but it's worth it in the end.
I've got to go put animals up.
Yeah, well, we had
I've got to go
fun.
night.
You got to put animals up. She's going to have to get her butt busy cooking something.
It's Haley's fault.
Yeah, sorry. Which you said you were going to start cooking around 5. It's only 5:06.
We're 6 minutes late. Fat kid got to eat.
You gotta eat. You're eating some right
I
now.
know what my
He's
fat
a
kid got to eat.
He eats a snack before supper and after supper.
Me too.
You got to do it. You got to.
Drives me crazy. All right. It was great talk. I thought it was a very good talk.
I think we had a lot of fun. Most of it was me
good.
complaining, but that's okay.
No, I
They
thought it
will
was a
never see
really
me
good talk
again.
today.
I think you should start doing every episode with us.
I don't.
I do too. Well, you know, I'm going to tell you why. Because when a guy is on the struggle bus, the last thing he wants to do is sit and listen to 2 women. Because our point of views are different from men's. And it's nice to have a man's perspective about your struggles, about diabetes, or dealing with Haley, or dealing with your own mental health. Because, like, even though you don't struggle with depression, you have other mental health you deal with, right? You have the pressure of trying to go, okay, I've got to study because I've got to have good grades so I can make good money, because one day I'm going to have a wife and kids that I have to take care
Hey,
of.
wife.
And it's
This
stress.
wife, ma'am. This
It's
wife.
stress, like, you know, all the stuff that men go through. Like, it's good for you to be here because we don't want our audience to be just women. I mean, we want anybody to feel comfortable here.
Most of our audience is men. 87% of our audience is men.
Let me
Really?
go look at the statistic. Yeah.
Maybe it's because we're so cute.
Let me go check one more
You're
time.
looking like this, sweetie. No, we looked at it. We were looking at, like, our stats on YouTube, And it was like 87% of your following is males.
84.1% is male.
Wow, that means a lot. I mean, that means that we're apparently approachable with our mental health. That men would feel comfortable to follow us that struggle. So
And our age demographic is between 25 and 44 years old.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Hey, only 60% are subscribed, so if you're not subscribed, subscribe.
Yeah.
Don't ever get that close. No one needs to see your pores. I think you just got oil on all of our screens.
Okay. Right.
You have to have don't you have to have 1,000 subscribers to go live? So if you guys
no, we can go live right now.
Oh, we can?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. When are we wanting to do our next live?
You tell me.
Do we want to talk more about it later?
Yeah.
Do we want to do it
Definitely
on all
want
3
to.
channels or just your channel?
I don't know yet. I think we'll just kind of figure it out when we get there.
Okay. Well, I love y'all.
Okay, love you.
Well, have
Bye,
a great day.
guys.
See you later. I forgot how to sign out of this.
I don't
Leave.
know.
Okay.
Don't leave.
You want me to
Don't
leave?
leave, though.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't.
let it upload.
Okay.
Okay, say bye again. Bye, guys.
Bye.
everyone.
See you later.
Bye.
Cheers.
I can
Hey,
say it
I'm
myself now.
Andrew, you have to finish so we can do what we need to do.
So grab your
Oh no!
Play.
Now why did it freeze?